the team, and this has been an attempt, along with all the other updates that are going to come through, to sort of help fix that issue. So that is the main reason why these promotions occurred. You may agree or disagree with most of them, but it's just an attempt to fix it, and we're going to make this team work. Next, we're going to have some really big updates coming. One of them is going to be implementing Slack instead of Skype. Slack is an organization program used by many business companies, especially for communication purposes and the sharing of files and data. Although Skype works perfectly fine, we've decided to move to a more professional format and a more professional program, and there's a lot more benefits that we have to it, such as it's a lot easier to upload screenshots, a lot easier to upload videos, it's a lot safer to avoid doxing and DDoS issues, and in that sense it's going to be very helpful. We're also going to have many more channels. We're going to have a senior staff request channel, which will be, you can request senior or admin help. So if a moderator needs someone's balance reset on Skyblock, for example, for island farming, they can say any admin available to reset this player's balance, and that will be a channel which will be kept strictly relevant just to requests, and then the admins and seniors will check it daily and deal with all those and clear that, so we won't have any issues with lockets or anything like that. We'll also be having an executive, senior, all the team channels, a network channel which will include trials. We'll have a moderator channel and many more. As mentioned, if you would like to join this Slack, please private message Zach and he will add you to all the appropriate channels based off of your rank. We'll also be having what's called bots. Bots are virtual members in this Slack program that will let you view certain things. So if you do !mod format, it will show you the link to everything that a moderator will need. So links, the moderator handbook, which was made by Conic, and much more. Another update will be that's everything for Slack. Now we'll be talking about the orientation update. The orientation update will be that there will be moderator trainings, which we will make mandatory, and they will take place over TeamSpeak, and they will be hosted by the executives, whether it will be me, Aaron, or Zach. Zach will deal with most of the American ones, and Aaron and I will deal with the European ones. We feel that trials get a pretty good orientating, and the mentor idea is very good, and we will be giving new moderators a mentor that will work with them for a month or two till they seem fit to manage on their own. So we kind of let moderators do their own thing once they are promoted to that rank, and this will be a way of making sure that they get to grips with mod and they aren't just sort of thrown into the dark. We will be having interviews, moderator and administrator interviews to newly promoted staff members. This will be just to get a rough idea of your goals in that current rank and everything else. Those will take place a moment or two after you are promoted, or whenever you can jump into a call. These will be hosted by the executives. Now, these are the two main ones that are going to solve quite a few issues. There have been some disputes in the staff team regarding biased opinions. It's natural to think that some opinions are biased, even though we do our best for them not to seem biased. And I think these mainly occur in the staff evaluations, and especially in how we bring back certain stuff. As you may know, I'm not going to deny it, Tiger was added back as a moderator, and Railwar was made to do the trial all over again. there was a lot of disputes about this being biased and not being biased, and I can understand that. So this is the retirement system we have. If, for example, John retires, he has a 72-hour grace period. In this period, John can return to his current rank, which is senior, no questions asked. So in 72 hours, if he changes his mind and realizes that he's made a mistake, he can return to that position, no questions asked. After this 72-hour period, he will not be able to return to senior. He will have a month period where he can return to the rank below his previous position. So he has a month period where he can return to admin. After this month period, he would have to reapply as per usual and start off from scratch, unless in the rare case where we have a unanimous decision by the entire staff team to add them back as a moderator. That would be the only exception, and therefore it is not biased, and it's very, I don't know what we'd like to call it, very fair and equal. Now, another thing is staff evaluations. Staff evaluations will still be occurring, but they will be completely different. We're going to be having a color system. Red being the worst, so a staff member who is giving a very bad performance in activity, moderation, duties, forum activity, etc., etc. We will have orange, which will be slightly better than red, but still underperforming. We will have green, which will be an average performance, which is most likely quite a large amount of the staff team will get, which will mean that they're doing exactly what is expected of them, no more, no less. We will have dark green. Dark green will be for an outstanding performance or a staff member that is doing an amazing performance and over and above our expectations. And we will also have grey. Grey will be if a staff member is excused. So if, for example, John is currently having some personal issues and he hasn't been able to get online or doing any forum work, he will receive grey, and and his position will not be affected by the current staff evaluation. These will be done via private message, and you will receive your color and where you need to improve or what you're doing great via private message, and it will be made, and we will make sure that you keep it between yourself, and you will not be able to view other staff members' results. So that is the change that we've had on the evaluations. And let me just see if there's anything else we have to add. No, I think that's pretty much it. The evaluations will be monthly. Every month, at the end of every month, we will give the evaluations. And promotions will be based off of these evaluations, but if you receive an outstanding, it's all about maintaining that performance too. So if you get once a green, if you get a dark green, for example, don't necessarily think that it means a promotion. It means you're doing extremely well and we're liking what we're seeing. But it's all about maintaining your performance. Now, I mean, I've basically gone through everything. Does anyone have any questions or any concerns or anything they'd like to comment about? Anyone?
Are the promotions for the child moderators still going to be at the end of every week or every 2 weeks?
Can you elaborate, John?
Because, for example, last night I cleared all the applications besides those who are on the borderline. There's no information. They're kind of like an excluded kind of application. I can't do anything with them. And then there's those who are ready to be accepted. What I'm saying is, are we going to have a controlled system where they're every 2 weeks, every 1 week? What's the consistency with that? Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of like the staff evaluations, like you said, that's the end of every month. What's going to be the time period between them?
We haven't made one yet, but I'll make sure that we do. And the moment I get a confirmation where we've discussed and disputed amongst the higher team and will involve seniors as well, like an appropriate time when we do those applications, but we'll discuss it together, okay?
Okay. I mean, my recommendation would be, for example, let's say we had a controlled set of like 5 to 6 mentors, excluding the seniors and executives and such. Now, every 2 weeks, since the thing is a 2 week process, it would be probably better to assume that once they hit the 2 weeks, you would accept, like for example, let's say you accepted somebody today, you wouldn't accept the next you wouldn't accept the next wave till 2 weeks later when these mentees are ready to go, because then it would kind of keep the availability of a lot of the mentors open.
Mm. I see your point. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I think within this week we'll discuss all this in senior
Um,
chat and we'll give,
Seems that
yeah,
Fernando didn't speak, but he has a question about unban like ban appeals, and I can answer this one for
sure.
you, Fernando. Whenever I accept a ban appeal, I'll always pretty much immediately unban them.
Yeah, that's what
First,
we do
first
as
being
well.
the hub, but I am not completely sure on how the bans are working right now. But if there's
You
an
have to use
appeal,
slash
like
party
if
and
there's an
slash
appeal,
unban.
I would recommend, and that's ready to be accepted, and you want to go ahead and do the unban, I would still recommend messaging a senior or somebody that can accept
Mhm.
or accept it,
Seniors plus
just
can.
so it could formally be taken out of the system.
Yep. Does anyone have any questions about Slack or how it works or anything like that? Does anyone have any questions about the new retirement policy and system? One sec, I think Dan has a question. Does anyone have any concerns about the having a mentor for new moderators and having anything for that or
I think
anything? Yeah,
I think that's kind of a good idea, only because of like for example cryptic, because there are, I'm not gonna lie, like we're not all the same age. We have vast age differences, even though to become staff you need to be what 13 years old.
yeah.
Um, like for example, I'm 22. I'm gonna be 23. But like with like cryptic or like with any other new staff member, I feel it's a pretty good idea, just because like there are some people who when they get promoted to the position they feel like they're instantly invincible, and I kind of feel
Mm-hmm.
like they need to keep that, in a sense, the trial moderator mindset, where they need to like understand that now it's not going to get easier from here. You need to keep working at it, and like
Yep.
if you're not, since you're a moderator, you have more things to worry about than a trial mod.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that having a mentor, kind of like how I went with like me, Pay, Saf, like they wanted me to mentor them, show them how everything's done, and they know that they're not always on their own. They could always come to me. Anybody from the staff team can always come to me and ask me if they don't know, and I usually try to know. If I don't know, then obviously I'll ask like other seniors. But I feel like that
Does
would be a
any?
good idea,
Yeah,
like just so newer moderators don't.
but it won't be people of part of orientation. We would probably make it seniors or admins plus.
Well, no, I'm just saying anybody who's actually like, because there
It
are some
basically
people,
depends on people who are fit for the position to be a mentor of a moderator, because it's a
because
bit more. It's a bit more
there are
daunting
people,
process, I'd say,
that they they're too embarrassed to ask. Some like a
for
lot,
help.
there is a thing where people are embarrassed to ask for assistance on questions. They feel like it's something they should know by common
Yeah,
sense, which
there's a mentality like if someone doesn't know, for example, something really basic like how to temporary ban someone, it's better to ask someone than to not know it. So,
Yeah, but
but does anyone? Sorry, you were gonna say something, John.
I'm just gonna say right now, this isn't calling Cryptic out. I'm just using him as using him slash her as an example.
Like I used you in many examples.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just because they're like the only newest moderator that I know right now. I'm still trying to get kind of in the swing of things with being a senior again.
As for the yes, you.
Oh yeah, there is Saf. She messages me at 5 in the morning while I'm still asleep.
Yep. So, does anyone disagree with anything? Does anyone disagree with anything? No, everyone's okay with it. Right. Canonically just.
Um, I gotta make one more statement. This like since this is being recorded and this is gonna get uploaded. Um, all the new mods, all who watch this, all admins, I don't care. Feel free if you don't know something. I mean, you got a problem. I mean, you can. My inbox is open, and sometimes our time zones don't probably won't go very well together, but you can still message me.
Yep. So, does anyone have any concerns at all with everything that we've discussed so far?
I missed everything.
Yep. Yeah, you did great.
I'm sorry. Just
It's
cooking
okay.
dinner.
We recorded.
Que que va
But
a
yeah.
estar aquí el 26 al 4.
And as I said, for all the promotions, it was done off
Que
of previous
medio que está
royalties,
aquí o
responsibilities that
ya
these
cuando
staff
se
members
va.
held,
Que ya
and
me pueden hablar al
how
rato.
and how Nick thought they would be fit for the position that he distributed to them. So it wasn't based off of current rank or title or anything like that. So yeah, I hope you all got a brief explanation for that and for
Yeah.
everything that we previously discussed. And I know some of you are not too fond of Slack, but it's a very in-depth program that once the upper team get good grips with it will be running very well. And we're going to try out for 2, 3, maybe even a bit more, a few weeks, let's say that. And at the end of it, the upper team will discuss to see how we thought it did, if we saw any major improvements. And if overall it turns out not to be as good as we were expecting it to be, we'll just move back to Skype and remake all the groups.
All right. Is
So
that
that's
it?
it.
That's it.
That's it.
All
Yep.
right. Make sure to hit that subscribe button.